Get ready to discover the most thrilling and addictive games available on PlayStation Plus Extra with our top 20 countdown. Starting with Abzû at number 20, a beautiful underwater adventure that evokes the dream of diving. It is cut from the same cloth as Journey, and while not quite as revered as the latter, the 2016 release still garnered a largely positive reception due to its stunning environments, relevant themes, and great soundtrack. As players explore the ocean filled with remnants of a bygone civilization, the protagonist begins to revitalize the sea. Immerse yourself in a vibrant hidden world bursting with color and life as you descend into the heart of the ocean. While it's a short game, the journey is one you'll remember, especially because it features one of the most visually striking and cathartic endings in the past few years. Number 19, Warhammer Vermintide II. Vermintide II celebrated its 5-year anniversary in March 2023. Despite being released 5 years ago, it remains highly active and is widely considered the best action-oriented Warhammer title of the last decade. The game is a rat-infested adventure, where players must survive wave after wave of rat-themed enemies and are rewarded with loot if they make it. With 13 missions in the main game and an additional 4 from free updates, the stages are designed to be replayed endlessly as players upgrade their class and weapons. Vermintide 2's 5 playable characters are all unique, so players are bound to find someone who matches their preferences. If you are a gamer who is willing to do anything for fun with friends, then Warhammer Vermintide 2 is a must-play. Number 18, Until Dawn. Horror fans looking for something unique will definitely want to check out Until Dawn. The release does a great job of blending together a gripping narrative with player choice, character interactions, and some seriously creepy environments. The end result is a spectacularly spooky playable movie that will have most players on the edge of their seats throughout. Players will be forced to make tough choices during tense story moments. These decisions will have a direct influence on the story as characters develop ideas about one another. While Until Dawn lacks complex gameplay, it makes up for it with compelling characters, astounding visuals, and a thought-provoking storyline. Until Dawn is a refreshingly self-aware experience that no thriller fan should pass up. Number 17, Spider-Man Miles Morales. One of the most exciting launch titles for PS Plus was Marvel's Spider-Man, which is a contender for the greatest superhero game of all time. And while the amazing game will be leaving PS Plus catalog in May, fortunately, Miles Morales will remain for some time. Miles Morales builds upon 2018's Spider-Man. In fact, the two releases are so similar that the spin-off can feel a bit like an expansion. That said, the game's fundamentals are so unbelievably strong that they help nullify these criticisms. Like Marvel's Spider-Man is one of the strongest PS4 titles on PlayStation, Miles Morales is among the best games on PS Plus Extra. Next, we have Neo: The World Ends With You, a long-awaited sequel to the cult classic Nintendo DS JRPG. It revolves around a death game that pits teams in territorial battles to determine, with the winner being granted the option to return from the dead. The game's strong premise leads to a gripping story with many moving parts, particularly once the campaign begins to explore the different Reaper groups. Neo's real-time action combat is relatively simple, with most of the depth coming courtesy of the massive roster of skills that players can equip to their loadout. This release captures everything that made the original special and surpasses it in every way. With a great story and incredibly addicting combat, players joining the Reaper's game will be hooked from start to finish and beyond. Number 15, Kena: Bridge of Spirits, an outstanding action-adventure game that seamlessly blends platforming, combat, and exploration in a beautifully crafted world. Players assume the role of Kena, which is a spirit guide who embarks on a journey to an abandoned village in search of the sacred mountain shrine. Along the way, she teams up with a group of tiny spirit companions called the Rot, who can help her manipulate the environment and uncover the secrets of the forgotten community hidden in the overgrown forest. Kena: Bridge of Spirits is not only one of the best games of 2021, but it's also a contender for one of the best games in recent years. The story is compelling, the gameplay is addictive, and the world is simply magical. With its charming characters, breathtaking landscapes, and thrilling battles, Kena Bridge of Spirits is an unforgettable adventure that every gamer should experience. Number 14, Gravity Rush 2. Gravity Rush 2 is an extraordinary adventure game that builds upon the unique world and traversal mechanics of its predecessor. The comic-style visuals give the game a timeless appeal, and Kat, the likable protagonist, adds to the game's charm. This game is extremely fun, engaging, and even challenging, making it one of those titles that you'll want to share with your friends to demonstrate why you're proud to be a gamer. Gravity Rush 2 offers a big evolution to the series and captivating stories to tell. The gameplay has also been improved, and the game has a beautiful presentation with colorful art and an exquisite soundtrack. Number 13, Control Ultimate Edition. Control is Remedy Entertainment's most complete release of the 2010s, mainly due to its combat system and world building. Inspired by stories found on the SCP Foundation site, the game takes place in a government building that deals with unexplainable phenomena that can alter reality. Jessie Faden goes to this agency in search of her brother, but quickly finds herself dealing with the threat imposed by an invading force known as the Hiss. Armed with a transforming gun and a range of satisfying abilities, players will find themselves immersed in a world filled with intrigue, mystery, and the supernatural. Control is a treasure trove of storytelling that is supported by great dialogue, intriguing characters, and stellar voice acting, and when paired with its amazing combat, it proves to be the complete package. Number 12 is What Remains of Edith Finch. Falling within the walking sim subgenre, What Remains of Edith Finch packs a lot into a 2-hour campaign. Players are cast as Edith, a woman who returns to her childhood home, a place defined by tragedy and death. The Finch family suffers from a curse that causes every member but one to die. Presented as short stories, Edith visits her relatives' rooms to learn about their final few hours. Powerful and unforgettable, What Remains of Edith Finch is something special. It may not be a very challenging game, but the story it tells is one which will undoubtedly resonate with players in ways they may not expect. This is probably the most impressive, inventive story about a family curse and one of the best interactive drama games. Number 11, Injustice 2. PlayStation Plus Premium members have access to the full Injustice experience, while extra-tier subscribers will have to settle for the sequel. Although the first entry arguably has the superior storyline, its successor is comfortably the better game in terms of combat and variety of content. For the uninitiated, Injustice tells an alternate reality DC tale that sees Superman take a trip to the dark side, which shakes up the allegiances of many iconic heroes and villains. The main single-player mode lasts roughly 5 hours, which is a perfectly acceptable length for a fighting game. The campaign's cutscenes are fantastically animated and feature a wide range of playable characters, allowing players to sample these fighters before they head into the online modes. Even if someone would rather not engage in PvP, Injustice 2 has more than enough single-player content to merit a download. If you are enjoying this video, don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. Number 10, Slay the Spire. Slay the Spire popularized and perfected the deck-building roguelike in one fell swoop. It's an impeccably well-balanced game that threads the needle between being simple enough for newcomers and deep enough for veterans of the genre. Because Slay the Spire is a single-player game, enemies aren't confined to the same rule set as the player, which lets every enemy feel unique and exciting. Slay the Spire is just a brilliant game. It opens its arms to you and holds you close to begin with, then pushes you away and practices throwing cards at you once you have found your footing. It really is a marvel of a genre mashup, and it is thoroughly deserving of your time. Any fans of drafting tabletop games owe it to themselves to give Slay the Spire a try. Just be prepared to start over and over again. It is a roguelike after all. Number 9, Shadow of the Colossus. Bluepoint Games can be relied upon to deliver high-quality remakes, and the studio's 2018 rendition of Shadow of the Colossus is a treat for fans of Team Ico's PS2 classic. Retaining the core elements of the original version, the remake improves the visuals and controls, providing a faithful but modernized experience. Shadow of the Colossus drops players in a desolate world and gives them a straightforward task: kill 16 roaming colossi to save the life of one girl. The Forbidden Land is haunting but sporadically beautiful, and while the map is not that large, the game does a splendid job of making it feel epic. Shadow of the Colossus is a veritable masterpiece from top to bottom, and is surely one of the greatest games on PlayStation Plus. At number 8, we have Deathloop. Deathloop is an addictive first-person shooter with a time loop premise. Colt is an assassin tasked with eliminating 8 targets in one day, a mission that resets whenever the protagonist meets his end. As the campaign progresses, Colt unlocks new powers and gadgets, giving players a varied arsenal that grants them freedom in how they can plan their kills. Deathloop builds on Arkane's previous projects like Dishonored and Prey, particularly in its combat system. The gameplay is accessible but challenging and rewards players who are willing and able to master Colt's range of skills. Not only is Deathloop an original concept, but it is also one of the best narrative FPS games of the last few years. The Made in Arcane concept is taken to its extreme, making it one of the best immersive sim games ever made. Number 7, The Division 2. The Division 2 has been out for more than 3 years, and despite some bumps along the way, it has established itself as one of the top live service games on the market. Taking place in a post-apocalyptic Washington, D.C., Ubisoft's game presents an alternate reality filled with warring factions and nature-reclaimed landmarks. The presentation is quite realistic, with the sequel being slightly more vibrant than its predecessor. The game boasts plenty of multiplayer-focused content, including PvP and an extensive endgame, but the story can also be played solo and experienced as a single-player game. With a wealth of content to explore, The Division 2 is definitely worth playing. Number 6 is Dragon Quest XI, one of the best RPGs on the PS Plus. Set in a vibrant world brimming with style and personality, this game delivers familiar but addictive turn-based combat, lovable characters, and a simple but effective storyline. Rather than reinventing a wheel that has never been broken, Dragon Quest XI opts to modernize mechanics and concepts that have been successful for decades. Ultimately, it just proves that Dragon Quest is timeless. This game is a masterpiece, and it sets a new high standard for not only the series, but console RPGs in general. Number 5 is Wolfenstein II: The New Colossus, an exhilarating adventure that sends players to Nazi-controlled America on a mission to recruit the boldest resistance leaders left. Fight the Nazis in iconic American locations, equip an arsenal of badass guns, and unleash new abilities to blast your way through legions of Nazi soldiers in this definitive first-person shooter. Even without the presence of a multiplayer mode, Wolfenstein II is a great FPS that offers a fantastic and really well-told story. Overall, Wolfenstein II is a must-play for fans of the first-person shooter genre. Its unique setting, exciting gameplay, and compelling story make it one of the best FPS games on PS Plus. At number 4, we have XCOM 2. XCOM 2 introduces an Earth that lost the war against the alien invaders. Now, players are part of a scattered resistance group that is fighting an uphill battle against an all-powerful system. XCOM 2 improves upon its predecessor in nearly every way, an accomplishment that definitely didn't come easy. The turn-based tactical combat is punishing but fair, and on higher difficulties, players must carefully plan each move or they will soon find themselves overwhelmed. While newcomers should consider starting with XCOM Enemy Within, which is also on PS Plus Premium, XCOM 2 is quite accessible as a sequel. XCOM 2 offers one of the most absorbing and unpredictable strategy experiences ever seen, and we strongly recommend you try it out. Number 3, Demon's Souls Remake. Arguably the PS5's strongest launch game, Demon's Souls is the impressive remake of From Software's 2009 PS3 classic. Bluepoint Games modernized the game's visuals and gameplay, releasing the definitive way to play this title since most of its changes enhance the original version or, at the very least, do not reduce its appeal. Demon's Souls is difficult but fair, hauntingly gorgeous, and infinitely replayable. Elden Ring might not be on PS Plus, but Demon's Souls and Bloodborne are the next best things, and an argument can even be made that they are superior to the 2022 release. Demon's Souls is a must-play for any PlayStation 5 owner who is subscribed to PS Plus Extra or Premium. Number 2, Bloodborne. From Software has cornered the hard-hitting action RPG genre through its immaculate Dark Souls trilogy, and that looks set to continue with Elden Ring. Out of all the studio's many great games, Bloodborne might just be From Software's most impressive achievement. Boasting a gothic aesthetic and reflex-based combat that demands aggression from players, Bloodborne delivers a kinetic experience that delights on a visual, auditory, and gameplay level. Naturally, Bloodborne is not an easy game, but it is one of the most rewarding PS4 exclusives. Consequently, it is easily among the best games on PS Plus. And finally, number 1, Doom Eternal. Sony has raised the bar to new heights by adding Doom Eternal to its PS Plus catalog this month. By including this adrenaline-fueled and heart-pumping game, Sony has given players the chance to experience one of the most intense and exciting first-person shooters in recent years. This edition not only demonstrates Sony's commitment to offering top-quality games, but also proves that they understand what gamers want, an exhilarating and challenging gameplay experience. Doom Eternal is one of the greatest FPS games of all time. It may have seemed impossible to make the fevered rhythm of Doom 2016's combat even more of an arrhythmia-inducing experience, but ID Software did just that by expanding the Slayer's arsenal and unleashing even more terrifying demons for him to lose it upon. Doom Eternal exceeded expectations, both where difficulty and enjoyment are concerned. If you haven't played it yet, now is the perfect time to jump in. And that was our top 20 PlayStation Plus extra games. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more like it, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching.